Hi there. Hi friends. I'm Ellen Gormley. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a read and stitch along with a symbol diagram from my book, Go Crochet Afghan Design Workbook. And I wanted to show you the Italian version of the book, which I don't read Italian, but that's the beauty of symbol diagrams. If you can read the symbol diagram, it doesn't matter what language the book is in because you can still follow the instructions. So I have before me a photocopy from the Japanese version of the book, and I thought we could read along together. So here's what the motif looks like that we're doing today. I love ovals. I love them very much, and I think you might enjoy this different version of something easy that you can make. So I have a K-size hook, and I'm going to use 2 colors of yarn today, I believe. And we're going to start with the symbol diagram. Now, the symbol diagram, I put in the photocopier and enlarged it. So when you're doing a motif that's worked in rounds, you look toward the inside and look for the number 1. So here's the number 1, and I will count the ovals, which I'm sorry about the contrast here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this indicates that we are going to chain 8. So this is the way we are headed. We know this is a double crochet because it has 1 hash mark. So even if you're using UK terminology, whether they call that a treble crochet or they call it a double crochet, it doesn't really matter. When you look at the symbol diagram, you know if it has 1 little hash mark across the post of the stitch, that's 1 yarn over. So we will start out with our first color and a K-size hook and chain 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the 4th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to place 5 double crochets. In the back ridge, back bump, back bar, you know I love to do it that way. So when you count these 3 missed chains plus 5 double crochets, it is equal to 6 stitches, and we'll be doing the same on the other end of the chain. So there's 4 because you're counting the chain 3 as 1 stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then we are going to double crochet 1 in each of the next 3 chains. So that makes 6, 7, 8, 9. Now in this final chain of our little beginning chain 8, we're going to place 6 double crochets all in that 1 stitch. Then on the underside of these double crochets, we will double crochet here, here, and here. So we have so far 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll add 6 more in this last chain and turn, rotating our piece so that we're working in the underside of the chain. So we're allowing these 6 double crochets to turn the corner. 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have 3 remaining, 1 under on the opposite or the opposite of the last 3. In the last 3 chains, the underside of the beginning chains, 1, 2, see, and 3. And then we will join with a slip stitch indicated by a dot, and we will place the slip stitch in the top of that first or the 3rd chain, the top of that stitch. So we now have completed round 1. It matches right there on the paper, and if we need to count, we can. So the chain 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Perfect. So now we're ready to go on to round 2. I'm going to fasten off row 1. On the diagram, even in black and white, you can see that the colors go from gray to dark, lighter to dark, lighter to dark, and that indicates that there's a new color or a new round. So now we're going to have a round 2. So if you keep the same color as in our diagram or in our picture, or if you change color, then it's okay. I'm going to change color though. I'm going to use this fun melon alpha, I don't think it's alfalfa, it's tranquil green. I'm going to go ahead and join here in the slip knot of round 1 with a chain 3. But you know what? I'd rather start with a standing double crochet. So you can either put your hook in and just pull up a loop, or pull up your yarn. You can just pull up your yarn like this without even a knot on your hook and chain 3 and get started that way. Or I am going to place a slip knot on my hook and join with a double crochet. Either way, it's six of one, half dozen of the other, as they say. So I'm going to join with a double crochet so that it looks like a double crochet from the beginning and not just a chain 3. So then I'm going to place another double crochet in that same spot, following the diagram around. Then I'm going to place 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and it looks like I'm doing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So I will follow along as I am grabbing the yarn from Theo's mouth. He's going to jump off the table and make it shake again any second. So 2 double crochet in the next double crochet, and 2 double crochet in the next double crochet. So if you think of an oval as just a circle that it was split in half, so here's half and here's half, and then you added some in the middle. You know, generally, you can look at my hat math or my flat circle video. My flat circle video will, tells you to place the increases equidistant around the circle, and usually row 2 is 2 stitches in each one. So we're kind of doing that here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we have 1 more to go. Grabbing some yarn from Theo. 2 in the next stitch. So this is where we are right here on the diagram with that final one. And here we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, 2 big long flat ovals. We're skipping those 3 stitches. 1, 2, we're skipping 1, 2, 3, and then in each of the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're going to place 2 double crochets. And remember, I know they are double crochets because they have 1 yarn over, 1 little hash mark there. Theo likes this green yarn. This is Brava Knit Picks worsted weight yarn, and he really likes it. So I will be careful to keep it away from him. It's an acrylic yarn, so it's a very versatile yarn. And he is not a yarn snob like my previous cat, my Charlie cat before Theo was a yarn snob, and he only liked natural fibers. But Theo is not a yarn snob, and he understands that there is room in the yarn world for all fibers, which I tend to agree, Theo. Although I admit that it was convenient that Charlie used to ignore most of my yarn and only went after the good stuff, because then at least my acrylic had a fighting chance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 1 more. I'm going to go ahead and work over this tail here. 1, 2. Theo. I might have to put him down. He's getting too frisky with my yarn. Okay, there you go, buddy. Okay, then we are chaining 2, 1, 2, and skipping 1, 2, 3, that turning chain, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and slip stitch in the top of that first stitch. You can change color again here, or you can keep going. If I were to keep going with the green, it's 1, 2, 3 chains here, making the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, double crochet in the same spot. Okay, I will do that. 1 double crochet in the next double crochet. Okay, that's the second one of the grouping. Here's the little group of 2. So we've got 2 in this first one and then just 1 in the next. Okay, got it. Then in this next group, we're doing 1 double crochet in the first half of this group of 2, and then 2 in the next. Okay, so that's 1 in the first half of that grouping, and then 2 in the next. And then this is probably where I would be like, let's look and see if there's a pattern here. There was not a pattern with this first one, but then this group, this group, this group, this group, and that group are all the same, with 1 double crochet in the first half of the group, and then 2 double crochets in the second stitch of the group. So that's going to be the pattern for the rest of this section. So I can now put my instructions aside for just a moment and just enjoy the process of 1 and then 2. 1 in the next stitch. Do you see what I mean by groups of 2? Like this is a pair of 2 here between my thumbs. And I put 1 stitch in the first leg or the first stitch, and I'll put 2 in the second stitch. 2 in the second stitch. And then 1, and then 2. And then 1, and then finish up with 2. Okay, we are right on target. Then we will chain 2 again because we have 2 ovals, 1, 2. And then let's look, 2 and then 1, and then 1 and then 2, 1 and then 2, 1 and then 2, 1 and then 2, 1 and then 2. You got that? So this first group of 2, 2 of them go in the first stitch and 1 goes in the second. And then from then on, all of the groups of 2 are the opposite. 1 double crochet in the first leg, 2 in the second. Okay, so we can do that. It's often good to kind of see the instructions ahead before we get ahead of ourselves to make sure that we are understanding the roadmap, seeing any obstacles that might lay in front of us. And then 1, and then 2. And then 1, and then 2. So instructions or details about how to get a copy of my book are down in the description below. Please subscribe to the channel, and you can see lots of different videos from this book, from my other books, One Skein Crochet, lots of Tunisian work, some live streams sometimes, some live learning that I hope to do about once a month. So keep an eye on the alerts. If you subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell, that should notify you when I go live and when I post something on the community page, like announcements, like the next live learning, which at the time of this recording, the next live learning is going to be August the 15th at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern. Okay, so here we are, and we're at the end, and we're going to chain 2, which is this chain 2 here. Oop, I dropped one when I pulled the hook out. And join with a slip stitch in the top of that chain 3. And I'm going to go ahead and change yarn because I feel like it. My little watermelon. Did you know with my name Ellen that I used to have a little boy tease me when I was a little girl, and he used to call me Ellen Smellin' Watermelon. Luckily, watermelon smells good. So maybe it wasn't so bad after all. Okay, so let's look at row 4. So round 4 turns the oval into the rectangle that can then be a very usable building block to make scarves or skirts or sweaters or capes or shawls or what cowl or whatever you want. So I'm going to go back to the pink because I feel like it. You totally could pick any colors you want. You can change color anytime you want. It's just going to change the look of things. Also, as I'm looking at the diagrams, I hope you can see, let's see if I don't have a Sharpie handy. You can see the little half moon here on the top of the stitch. The half moon here. That means that if you imagine this, the horizontal line is one bar of the stitch, one loop of the stitch, and the other half moon is the other loop of the stitch. You can imagine the stitches pulling those two loops away from each other, which means that the stitches in this case are worked in the back loop only of all the stitches around. Now, if the little half moon arc were upside down like a cup, then you would be working in the front loop. But this little moon, sun on the horizon, up mound is that we're working in the back loop only. So, okay, we're joining. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, looks like 1, 2, 3 single crochets in the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3. Now, working in the back loop only. Now, you don't have to work in the chains themselves. You just put them in the space. It's okay. Then working in the back loop only, we're going to single crochet in 1, 2. The plus or sign or the X is considered a single crochet in US terms. So single crochet, then half double crochet. That's the T with no yarn over. Pulling all the way through. Then we're doing double crochet in the next. Okay, then here looks, all 3 of these stitches are in the same back loop only of the next stitch. Oh, let me pull my paper down. I'm so sorry. So did you see that? We're joining in the chain 2 space with 1, 2, 3 plus signs. That's 3 single crochet. Then single crochet in the back loop only of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. Then a half double crochet. That's just the T in the next stitch. Double crochet in the next stitch, that's what we just did, in the back loop only. Then these 3 stitches are all pointing at the same back loop only, and so all 3 of them will go in the same stitch, and we have 1 yarn over, that's a double crochet, 2 yarn overs, that's a treble crochet, and a double. So double, treble, double, all in 1 stitch. And that's where we are now. So sorry about that, I got so carried away. Double, yarn over twice for a treble, yarn over once for a double. All in that makes that corner space. Then a double, that's got a hash mark there. It is okay to photocopy out of a book for the purpose of making the item. So in terms of copyright, now we're single crochet in the next 2. It is not okay to distribute your photocopies. Chain 1, don't skip any, then double and then single crochet. Don't skip any. Ooh, it's tempting to skip one, isn't it? So it's okay to photocopy for your own use. It is not okay to distribute. I'm going to turn this. So after that, I put, so I've got the side here, and then there's my chain 1 right here by my thumb. And then single crochet, then half double. So it's absolutely okay for you to do what you need to do the project. Okay, that's a double crochet. And then all in that corner again, double, treble, double, double, treble. Do you cat owners recognize that sound? That's Theo needing let out. Here you go, buddy. I'm sure you'll recognize that sound again in just a moment when he wants to come back in. So I'm turning the diagram. I made the corner, double crochet in the next stitch, half double in the next stitch, single in the last 2. We're right on target. Single, 1, 2, 3 in the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3. So even if you don't read a word of Japanese or a word of Italian or a word of Finnish or whatever book you've got, you can still make the item if they have a symbol diagram. Okay, single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, still in the back loop only. I love single crochet. I love symbol diagrams. I love half double crochets. I love, there really aren't too many stitches I don't love, except for maybe bullion stitches. I've never really mastered that. I don't know if you have. Okay, so this is the double, treble, double corner. Then double in the next stitch. then half double in the next stitch. I like these graduating height stitches. Then we're doing 2 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 2, chaining 1, not skipping any, even though it's really tempting and I have to hold myself back. And the point of that chain there in the side was because the book is designed for all the motifs to like mix and match with each other. So I needed to get the correct number of stitches along the side so that you could put them all together like building blocks or jigsaw puzzle pieces. That was the purpose of that extra chain, to make this side have 13 stitches. Okay, but if you're not doing that, you're not mixing it with another motif in the book. There's 50 motifs in the book and they're made to go together. Then you can eliminate that chain if you want to. All right, so half double, double, then a corner, double, treble, double, double, treble, double in the same stitch. We should have just a few left. Double, half double, single in the last 2 stitches. So I forgot to turn on my diagram, but we've come along here. We're at here, last 2 stitches, single, single, and then slip knot next to the number 4 is the end of the round. So I'm slip stitching in that first stitch. Ah, voila. So here's my oval motif, and we have successfully followed a symbol diagram, and you have made yet another piece out of the Go Crochet Afghan Design Workbook. Please go check out the video on Japanese symbol diagrams and the videos on improving your pattern reading skills. I'll see you in the next video.